Well, welcome back to another edition of Motor Vessel Gratitude on our southern adventure to the Bahamas. Here we're just arriving in St. Augustine, Florida, and picking up a mooring ball. And you reserve these and they give you your assignment. And having never done it before, ever, it was quite a new challenge, especially by myself, to snag that trail line. But 2 attempts, I was able to get tied off, and ready to go out and explore this cool little town. It was founded in 1565, so its claim is the oldest city in our country, and it's right on the ocean, about 40 miles south of Jacksonville. So it's a really cool destination spot. It's very, very popular with tourists and local folks that want to come and see all the history, and there is a lot of stuff to see and do here. Once I was set on the mooring ball, I jumped on the dinghy and came into the marina. And it's a city marina here at St. Augustine. It's run by the municipal government. And you can buy a parking pass basically for your tender for the week that you're here, or for the day, whatever you need. So I was meeting Jim and Matt in there. We walked around downtown, found some dinner. And on the way back, I got to check out Gratitude at Christmas time. I decorated it with some holiday lights and a blow-up toucan to try to bring some holiday spirit aboard the boat. So you'll notice after I give the camera a couple glances of the Christmas lights, I have a really strong current I'm fighting, and so it took me a couple tries to get lined up so that I could grab my trail line off the back deck and dock the dinghy for the night. So after a much too short a visit in St. Augustine, we're back on the water, heading back south from St. Augustine. Our next destination is West Palm Beach, Florida. So we decided to do an overnight trip and just knock out a bunch of miles at once. And so we left at the first crack of light, and it was a little bouncy heading out the bar into the ocean that morning. One of the kiddies did not agree with it, poor dude, but it calmed down eventually, and we got into some much nicer ocean for the duration of our trip south. So as you can see from the video, it really did calm down and was a pretty pleasant trip for the most part. And this is the next morning, and we are just coming up on the channel of Lake Worth Inlet, which is a very busy inlet for ship traffic. The port of Palm Beach and West Palm and Riviera. It's a very busy spot, so you really got to be kind of on your toes as you're coming in with all the small fishing boats, charter boats, passenger boats, and freighters and cruise ships coming through there. Every time I come into Lake Worth Inlet, it's sort of a magical experience. There's palm trees lining both sides, mansions and mansions and mansions, skyscrapers, boats everywhere. It's really a neat experience. This here's Pickle Rick's fueled barge, and you can dock up to them and take on fuel, and we'll do that later in the video. It's a cool experience. As you can see, there's literally hundreds upon hundreds of sailboats and trawlers and motorboats all anchored in Lake Worth Inlet. Some are waiting to cross over to the Bahamas, some are just visiting, and probably some are just some local boat owners. But it's unbelievable how many boats are in this one little area.
Okay, let's go.
This is just a little marina right here that's got a few hundred boats that are well over 100 feet in length easily. A couple of them are over 200 feet, and it's just impressive to be up alongside of them and see how big those yachts really truly are. So after a 4-mile run down Lake Worth Inlet, I am right just north of the Flagler Bridge in downtown West Palm Beach, and these are all my friends' boats. They were just a smidge ahead of me, and we're all anchored in this little anchorage area just north of the bridge to spend a couple days prepping for weather to cross over to the Bahamas ourselves. This was a fun moment when I realized that Sailing Vessel No Shoes was right next to me, so we were going to be anchor neighbors before our trip across. It's hard to tell in the video, but I was really struggling to find a good spot to anchor among all my catamaran friends, as we all don't swing on our anchors the same, and we try to anchor with like kind, if you will. So I was giving them as much space as I could while still trying to feel a part of the community there, but I wasn't sure how much mine was going to swing compared to theirs. So I went just a little bit further back up the inlet, but I was still within a few hundred feet of each of the catamarans. So setting anchor solo has actually gotten to be an easier task. Thankfully I have the yacht controller, which is like a remote control in my hand, so I'm able to put the boat in and out of gear, as well as move the bow and stern thrusters to try to keep myself in the right spot as I drop the anchor down and get it set. The anchor chain rode has colored markings on it, so I know how many feet out I'm letting, and I know ahead of time, based on how deep it is, how far I want to go before I hook up the anchor bridle, which is the Y-split line that you see there going out, and it spreads the load on the anchor chain to my two front bow cleats and takes all the pressure off of my windlass, so that all the surges don't injure or damage my windlass. Of course, once we're anchored and showered, we're into downtown West Palm on Clematis to meet up and have some fun and drinks. So sailing vessel Moxie and Fizz Gig and Anchors Up and Coronado are in that first picture as we're celebrating the start of the holiday season. So I eventually moved the boat and anchored right next to the Flagler Bridge, and gave me an opportunity to really see some cool boats go by. My crew came out to assist in watching them, and as you can see, the little weekender boat and then the other weekender boat behind it there, as we were sitting and waiting for our weather window. So, as with all plans, they go out the window when something mechanical happens. And unfortunately, my clutch went out on the PTO of my generator, which meant that I was not able to run any of my hydraulics until I got that repaired. So I told the rest of the group to head on, and I would catch up to them, and spent a little bit of time taking advantage of the downtime waiting for the parts to go ahead and do some other maintenance on the engine. And here I'm doing the raw water impeller change, and that's the pump that pulls in seawater and runs it through a heat exchanger on the engine to help keep everything cool. So my cousin Terry has been asking for a tour of Gratitude, and while I don't have quite the full tour set yet, here's one of the engine room I'll share with you. The main engine, which is a single John Deere 6068 turbo diesel, 300 horsepower, is my main propulsion, and in the back port corner there is my 12.5 kilowatt Northern Lights generator. It powers my hydraulics as well as the house and all the power that I need. And over here in the corner is a distribution of some more electrical. I've got the couple air conditioner units here for the boat. There's a third one on the other side. And then those two blue panels are my two Victron inverter panels. And then I have four 230 amp 24 volt batteries, which gives me about 920 amp hours of 24 volt power, which is then converted to the 12 volt house system. And so it's long enough for me to stay 24 hours without having to run a generator or the engine, which is really, really nice. And as promised, a stopover at Pickle Rick for some fuel. This is actually the Palm Beach fuel barge, but everybody knows it as Pickle Rick and Morty, and they've been around for a long time, delivering fuel to boats that want to purchase it from them. And it's a reduced amount because you don't pay certain taxes from the land base. So you just call them on the radio and tie up, and I took on, I think, about 200 gallons. I just wanted to top all my tanks off before I cross over. They're very engaging, very funny, and when you have the form at the end to check whether you're paying with cash, credit card, or Venmo, you can also check hookers and blow or wire transfer. So quite a few different options. However, they do fill up some super yachts that'll take on 2,000 gallons of diesel, so I guess wire transfer makes sense in that case. Well, after everybody left, it was just Ryan on Fizzgig, Ken and Linda on Libertas, and myself. And thanks to Ryan's car rental, we were able to run some errands and provision up and do a little shopping. And then some very good friends of mine from Oregon happened to be in Cocoa Beach, Bob and his wife Linda. Bob is a good fishing buddy of mine from back in the day, and we also worked together for many years. So that was such a pleasant surprise to have Oregon family here.